Hello, it's me, Melissa, and today we're going to read some UFO stories fresh from Reddit. I don't know how fresh they are actually, but they're a fine vintage of UFO stories. So I'm here with Tigger, and let's get reading on some UFO stories. Have you ever seen a UFO, even if you don't believe in that sort of thing? I was in a small town about an hour from Chicago with my mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and little brother. Whole family. How wholesome. We were watching Mamma Mia on DVD downstairs. Eventually, the rest of my family went upstairs to go to bed. I continued to watch the movie, however bad it was. I don't like musicals. Till it was over at 10 p.m. I quickly wolfed down some food and then went upstairs to go to bed. As I walked up the stairs, I heard a gasp from my parents' room. Naturally, I went in and tried to see what was wrong. My mom told me that she woke late at night. She couldn't move. She noticed the blankets being pulled away. This can be perfectly explained by sleep paralysis, but she wasn't the only one. My dad woke up, presumably at the same time or near, also paralyzed. He saw a bright light moving across the room, floating near my mom, and then it floated towards him. That's all they remember. After that talk, which lasted no more than 10 minutes, I looked at the clock and it was 4 in the morning. I didn't want to startle them anymore. I didn't tell them about the lost time I experienced. I'm a skeptic, yes, but I have no rational explanation for what happened that night, and I don't think I ever will. Well, my explanation is that it's a very classic UFO story with missing time, bright lights, unable to move. Yeah. Okay, got another one. I have a UFO story that scares me to think about even to this day. Summer of 1997, I was a high school senior, and I lived with my parents in a rural country area. There was a large field right down the road that sometimes had cows or horses in it. My friend Pat and I would go there to chill, drink, smoke, etc. Anyway, this particular night we got there pretty early, about 9 o'clock p.m. We just opened our first brew, not smoking yet, and my friend noticed a strange plane in the distance. We went out here a lot, so we were well aware of the typical lights of planes or the occasional helicopter. At this point, we just thought it was unusual, but nothing too crazy. The plane in question was slowly heading in our direction. As it got closer, we noticed a couple of other features. First, the object was not flying in a linear path. It was swooping from side to side, similar to dropping a feather. Second, the lights on the object were unique. The object was shaped like a disc, and the lights would randomly flash green, blue, yellow, white, and red around the rim. I commented at the time that the lights changed colors between flashings. For instance, one light would flash yellow, but the next time it flashed, it would be red. At this point, I was starting to get uneasy, but I was still more curious than I was scared. Perception at night is a funny thing. Neither of us heard any audible sounds, so we assumed it was a large plane far away. As it came closer and closer, I realized it was a small object. It was getting very close without any sound. I would estimate it being about 300 yards away. It was slightly above the tree line. The only man-made vehicle that could mimic its flight would be a helicopter, but that would be extremely loud at this distance. My friend told me to turn around. Panic shot through me when I looked in the sky. Encircling us in the sky and slowly descending down towards us were identical-looking ships to the one that we were watching before. Only minutes before, the sky was completely empty except for the stars, and now I counted 5 other ships all matching the same light pattern as the first. We were both terrified. We were both terrified and started walking to the direction of our cars, still focused on the original ship which was closest. Perhaps only to mess with me eternally, the original ship sent a circle of light down onto the field below. The disc was hovering approximately 30 feet in the air and was about 150 yards away. And it was silent. The beam was a perfect circle of crisp white light. You could easily see the grass of the field slightly swaying in the wind. We ran faster than I'd ever run before and both hurdled a 4-foot tall wooden fence. We jumped in our car and blazed out of there. We both had serious problems going to sleep for the rest of the summer. As crazy as this story sounds, it is true. Even to this day, my adrenaline starts pumping when I think about it, and I hope that someone benefits from hearing it. It's another classic UFO story. And someone else saw the same thing. It says, The next one is like, "Man, I saw the exact same thing you're describing," 'cause it's the classic UFO story. "I live in Canada, pretty far north, in Edmonton, and here's my story. Anyways, about 8 to 10 months ago, me and a friend were sitting on top of a parking garage about 3 to 5 levels high. While sitting at the top, we were alone because it was about 12 a.m. The sky was also clear and visible in all directions. While gazing at the stars, sorry, not the stairs, like I usually do, I saw something out of the ordinary, a bright, three-orbed object hovering up in the sky. It was triangle shaped, with one light orb on top and two in the bottom, all simultaneously moving together. At first, I thought I was imagining this, so I quickly tapped on my friend's shoulder and I told him to look up. And as he did so, to describe what he was seeing. And in the midst of this, I realized I needed to take a picture. But with the iPhone 4, it can hardly make out the moon, so there was no luck. 10 to 20 seconds passed, feeling like an hour. And then all of a sudden, it went from hovering to hitting warp speed like something you would have seen on Star Trek. After that, it cleared the entire horizon, not to be seen again. Me and my friend sat there in disbelief for a good 15 minutes. We didn't know what to do or who to call or anything. So my friend just called his cousin and she told him that her friend saw the exact same thing. This is a classic UFO story. It was amazing to see, and I can assure you it did not look or behave like any human aircraft I've ever seen. It was definitely an experience that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. Yeah, classic UFO story. In Chile, there's a place called Cajon del Mapo, surrounded by mountains. It's about an hour away from downtown Santiago, the main capital city. So I went there when I was 20, and there are some good mud pools in this place called Banos Morales. I went there with my ex, and we were taking a bath at 3 in the morning. It was kind of a wild experience, and we were alone. I can confirm this because I closed the gate that could let anyone enter into the pools. So here we are, naked, bathing, playing with each other in the middle of the night when suddenly we see this guy staring at us. He would be 30-ish, quite white and quiet. That's a weird description. Quite white, like the color white, and quiet. So, wow. Okay. We honestly freaked out. I, as the man of the situation, in order to calm my ex, pretended to be calm, but in my inner state, I was scared. The gate was closed, and I did close it by myself. There was no other entry, and I could look from the place that we were. The gate was closed. I said, "Que wea?" or something like that, which meaning, "What's up?" Staring back at him, he just smiled and waved a hello with his arm. I thought immediately that we were jumping to conclusions. It couldn't be an alien, but he, right in front of our eyes, said, basically, "It's all right. I've seen everything I wanted to see." And then he started to disappear by fading like an image. Sounds like on Star Trek. Cajon del Maipo is well known for its UFO sightings, but we were astonished. I'm 27 years old now, but I can't understand what happened that night yet.